Dude, it was there.
Yep.
It was there. You did everything right. Oh, well, all you had to do was just ask for it. I think someone watching can literally put themselves in your shoes and they're like, walk me through this process. There was the first call. He set up the appointment. Oh, here's Kyle's call. This is the conversation he had. Then they went. I can even visually walk through this video as they did.
Yeah.
And at the end, I ask you what you're gonna do, right? I'm a real estate investor. I'm sharing everything I know about subject to in a way that complete beginners understand. This guy is John Pratt, our fearless novice, diving headfirst into the world of subject to real estate deals. Watch as I start him on the path. I'm your guide, Kyle Kargas, and this is Subject to Real Estate Secrets, the path from moron to millionaire. Welcome to Subject to Real Estate Secrets, the path from moron to millionaire, where subject to real estate investing is when you get to buy a property, take over the seller's mortgage payments without having to go through a bank, and they get to move on with their lives onto the next phase. John, welcome back, my man.
Thank you. Love the energy.
Dude, I love doing this.
Yeah, I can tell. I mean, it's amazing. Yeah.
Oh, it's so much fun. I love real estate in general.
Yeah.
And then on top of this, I love helping other people. So now I'm marrying all this together in one big package. I could help anyone else that's watching as well. I wish I had this when I was starting.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my
I feel
gosh.
you.
And then this episode is super cool as well. Okay? So for anyone watching that haven't watched the last episode, go watch it.
Go watch it.
But what you need to know is we ended the last episode. You're getting to a point where you're making calls, etc. And at the end of the last episode, there was a specific agent, I believe his name was Andrew.
Yes.
Right? Where you had a conversation. In fact, you recorded that and we shared that as part of the last episode. And I gave you critiques on what you did. And ultimately, at the end of the episode, you had an appointment and you didn't set it.
It was just sitting there. And I painfully realized that as we were on the homework, looking at my videos, it was just sitting there. I didn't grab it.
Dude, it was there.
Yep.
It was there. You did everything right. Right? And yes, we'll have to have future episodes about how do we get the volume up, how do we, you're right, because you're going to want to do things on a scale, right? But it's like, that one was there. You did the work. And in that episode, I said, John, you need to call him back. That was your homework. Call him back and set the appointment. So, John, first question.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
It's a tough one.
Yep.
Did you call him?
I did.
You did call him. Yes. Okay, that's action.
Yes.
That's taking action.
Yes.
All right, so you called him. You set up an appointment. So today, this is why this episode is kind of cool. Because we're basically following this deal. Okay? We've all arrived all the stuff you had to do before that. But the last episode, hey, this is exactly how this deal started. You had that phone call.
It's literally recorded.
And it's recorded and it's already, people up to this point have already watched that. Now it's, hey, how does this get put together? What happens next, etc. So the cool part about this episode is you recorded this call, right? Your quote second call with him after I told you to go talk to him, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So, and I know you had this call because I had an appointment with him.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So, yes, I know a little bit of what some people don't. But we have that video. We're going to share that right now. Let's all watch that video.
We're going to call Andrew back to do what Kyle said. I don't know if you'll hear him or what. Hi, Andrew. John here. We actually spoke yesterday about the Holmes Avenue unit. Yes. I talked with my partner actually this morning. He was thinking, and let me know what you feel, if he could underwrite it first before going under any sort of contract, would that help on your end?
Potentially.
Okay.
But I'd be happy to have him underwrite it and then present something, and I can send that to my client and see what she thinks.
Is it okay if I set you up with an appointment with him?
Yeah, that'd be fine.
Okay. Are you good? Let me see what I have. I have it tomorrow. Angie, hey, John here from yesterday about that listing. I mentioned the listing to my partner, and he's curious about it. You would know a lot more than I, so would you be open to talking with my partner tomorrow about a possible seller finance offer?
All right, John, we're back. Watch the episode. Short little video, but success.
Yes. Yes. It took 45 seconds technically to get that appointment.
That's all you were missing. All you had to do was just ask for it. To help people understand why you're like, hey, I'm going to have my underwriter, Kyle, underwrite the numbers first was because this property has gone under contract twice before. And so we are trying to help the seller, right, feel confident on moving forward with this type of offer, right? They are open to it, right? Or at least at this point, actually, maybe you guys don't even know because my call is next, right? Because remember, I'm walking you guys through this whole deal. So you guys saw the first call last episode when John called. Okay, now everyone, we had the first call that you made last episode.
Yeah.
Everyone just watched the second call where you actually set up the appointment.
Yes.
So guess what we're going to do for the rest of this episode? I have a video of my call with Andrew, right? Of me actually having this appointment so you and everyone can see how that went. And then we actually went to the condo.
Yes, we went like that day or the next day or something. Yeah.
Yeah. So spoiler alert, they were open to it, right? So obviously we went. And so I told you, and you chose to record videos. So we got videos of John on your way, being at the condo, etc. We recorded a video walking through the condo, our thoughts, etc. You guys are literally going to be able to see all of that.
I don't know if that's ever really happened quite like that before. They get a journey, your viewers, of the real, actual evolution of an actual deal.
I think someone watching can literally put themselves in your shoes, and they're like, walk me through this process. There was the first call. He set up the appointment. Oh, here's Kyle's call. This is the conversation he had. Then they went. I can even visually walk through this video as they did.
Yeah.
And at the end, I ask you what you're going to do, right?
Yeah.
And you you let us know. So perfect. So we're going to share all of that with everyone. So right now, I'm going to share with you guys my video call, and we're going to take you to the condo. So let's go. John, we are here on your third call.
Third appointment, yeah.
Yes, true. On your third appointment, we might have a deal here. So we are here. This is a condo in Mesa, Arizona, right? You might be considering investing some funds, possibly purchasing it, right? We could also sell it to somebody else.
Yeah.
I could buy it. We have different options, right? But it's a good enough deal that we are here on site.
The next day.
The next day.
After the episode, we called. You coached me how to call him back. I called him back like an hour later. And then you guys had a good conversation, and we're here.
Went well, right? So we're here to check this place out. So look at this. This is a little condo association here, and we're about to walk in. So you guys are going to see our initial first reactions. So I already unlocked the door. Let's go in.
All right. Cool. It smells like a newly renovated, like a painted, or maybe it's just that vacant non-air conditioning smell.
Yep. More or less kind of freshly painted.
Yeah. With some fixtures that came off probably recently.
Yep, multicolored room. You got dark colors and light colors on different walls.
Pastel color, yeah.
Okay, but that's fine. I think that works. Here, let's.
With these built-ins, interesting. With like paint, I guess they were painted.
Yeah, they were painted. So okay, so we got John. This is the dining room. Has vinyl flooring. Okay, so that's an upgrade. That's good. Okay. In the front room we just walked in. Let's look. Hey, it has carpet. It's newer.
Yeah.
Right? Not brand new, but
not brand new, but you can
carpet.
tell it's newer.
And super durable tile by the front door. So far, so good. It's a good little space here, and it can look real nice. What I'm finding interesting already is look out that sliding glass door. I see carpet.
There's carpet. So I read on the listing that this is like they're calling it a great room or a sunroom, north-facing sunroom is what they're calling it.
Okay, got it. So that's really interesting, right?
It's probably a little bit newer carpet because
so this is typically your balcony.
But it's like boxed in. It's built in.
None of them. No. See, they have a balcony that's open.
Okay.
Over there, right? So see how some are closed.
That's probably what this one looks like.
Some are open. So maybe we just got a closed one.
Yeah, this one's open. These ones are closed.
All right. And then right behind you, this is your storage hot water heater. Okay. That's fine.
Yeah, it's just right there. Okay.
Yeah, it's all just right there, nothing big.
Supplies and a window to the kitchen. So the facility must have built some of these out.
I can guarantee you almost all of them this was a balcony.
Yes.
So it looks like the
But so
facility
many of them
themselves
are built in.
enclosed some of them.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
See both of those?
Yeah.
All of those were balconies before.
Yeah.
But it looks like they've actually enclosed half of them or 3/4. See, if you look over there, there's 3 out of 4.
Yeah. Okay.
So I bet you it's an upgrade that you can pay for if you want.
Okay.
Maybe? Okay.
So it ends up with this sort of kitchen window facing
Yeah,
the
it's no big deal.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. All right. You get to your kitchen.
Kitchen. Okay.
Yep, no power.
Yeah.
Okay. New range.
Okay.
Okay. Fridge, so stainless steel. Okay. Interesting. Got some drinks. Okay. Countertops, you got this is old, right?
Yeah,
This is not upgraded, but that's fine. Look how small this kitchen is. It is kind of tight.
Small kitchen. Yeah.
Okay. But it works. And I'm not seeing, I see a little chip there, but honestly, for a rental, this looks just fine. The cabinetry, all of
Rental like a LTR, like a
long-term rental, but any of them. You could do any of them with this. What we're looking for is just kind of, does that look fine, or any of them kind of falling apart? Okay, they all look good to me so
Yeah,
far.
they look good.
Okay, so I'm not worried about that.
Definitely rental grade.
Yep, and that'd be your closest thing to damage. But you could glue that.
Yeah.
You glue that. I'd probably do nothing, to be honest.
Okay.
If you wanted to upgrade, you could paint them.
Yeah.
You could paint these white.
I mean, what color would I paint this?
White.
I would just leave it though, wouldn't you?
I
just
would leave it.
Because
I
look
would
at that.
leave
Is that going to take paint? I don't
Yeah.
know.
I would leave it, but if you needed to, you could paint these white and change out the countertops to like quartz. And then this would feel like a really upgraded kitchen.
Just
that.
the quartz, huh?
Just the quartz. I would
You'd
paint
still
them
paint.
if you did the quartz. Mm-hmm. Maybe. Yeah, I probably would. Because regardless, you would want to change out the hardware. Mm-hmm. Okay. Take note up top, right here, John. They got the can lights.
Let me see if I can point at it. I can't. That one and that one.
Yeah, all good.
And whatever this is.
Yeah.
What is that?
Maybe doorbell? I don't know. No,
That
it's probably
could be
the
like a-
transformer thing for power. Okay, but that's fine. So kitchen's not, kitchen's not fully
Dining.
updated.
Yeah.
Okay, but that's okay. It still looks nice. Let's keep going. I'll have to look. It looks like a washer and dryer is
Yeah.
included, I believe.
They
which
look
is
included
cool.
to me.
Okay, we'll go to the bedrooms in a second, but let's go in. There's still no light in here, but take note, luxury vinyl flooring underneath. So basically they've done no countertops or cabinet stuff anywhere, right?
Yeah.
But once again, how inexpensive would it be to do it? Look how small the countertop is.
Yeah. That's 3 pieces.
Yeah, and you don't need to extend it like this. So you cut it here, you do one little piece, kitchen, and there's another bathroom.
Mm-hmm.
You could upgrade this very inexpensively. Okay? But even now, I would leave it, John.
Yeah. At least for that, let's say it's a long term, leave it at least for that first tenant.
All right, so here's bedroom number 1. Okay?
Big bedroom.
Decent size, right?
North view.
Right? Typical closet.
It's clean. It feels fresh.
Yep.
I like the paint color. We don't
I will
have
say
to do
upgraded
anything.
light, but no ceiling fan, so there's a possibility of someone
Okay.
wanting a ceiling fan.
And it is a north-facing window, so that's a little bit less sun per year.
Yeah,
But
and shouldn't be an issue because you're not the end unit too, so west sun, you're not getting hit by any of the west sun.
I think this one is the end unit, isn't it?
No,
There's another unit.
I'm pretty sure we walked past it.
Okay.
We'll look in a
Okay,
second.
we'll look.
But laundry we already saw, and then here's your other unit.
Little cabinet, just like cheap cabinetry,
Yep.
rental grade stuff.
But that's fine. You do got a ceiling fan here, even though it's hanging down.
Yeah, what's with the hanging down?
Okay, that's just heat. Okay.
So this maybe has been vacant for quite a bit.
You know.
I mean, look at this. So like dust,
Sure.
Yeah,
just haven't been on top of it, but
Yeah.
that's fine. Okay, and then same thing.
Okay,
This
the
bathroom's
master.
almost identical to the other one, right?
Yeah.
Almost identical. Not upgraded except for the flooring, but you could easily do that stuff. So if you wanted to spend a little bit of money down the road
Yeah.
and create a more upgraded feel, you could.
Maybe do this and that. Ceiling fans are nice to have.
They are, but
redo
they're cheap.
Yeah.
We don't make decisions based on ceiling fans, though.
Right.
Now, take note. This is obviously the primary because of the bathroom off.
Yeah.
And look, it's 3.
1, 2, 3.
Oh. Okay. This glass is broken. Just be aware.
Okay.
And this
Top
is
right
jacked
corner.
up. This
That
is,
one's off the track.
Okay. So that's definitely careful.
That's a thing. Okay. All right. Won't break it anymore.
sensitive.
But we assume there's a closet in there.
Right. Okay, cool. All right, John, we just finished walking through.
Yeah.
What is your gut reaction
Yeah, my
first?
gut reaction is, so I had some options, right? Like, or in my mind, some options, some scenarios.
Okay.
One was treat it like personally as though it's my primary and leave the place that I'm currently renting right
Okay.
now. Now I have a good deal because I have a good relationship with my landlord I'm renting right now. So if I don't treat this like my primary, I could treat it like an investment, right?
Right.
Of
Okay,
course.
so official answer from a
Okay.
primary, would you buy this and live here as your primary?
No,
Okay.
I wouldn't buy this from my primary because I like my situation now.
So compared to
this.
terms,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
You have such a good deal where you're at.
Yeah.
You've decided already, just numbers wise.
Just numbers wide, I sort of know the neighborhood, although I'm surprised being here. We talked about it a little bit. I'm surprised like how up and coming it is,
Okay.
like on its way up.
Right. Okay. So when you were driving in here,
Yeah.
right, you're like, because I did notice
was
there
like,
was
oh, there's new
construction, new
construction.
apartment complex,
Yeah.
a small one being built, other
Yeah,
things,
little
new,
businesses here and there.
Yep, new gas stations, etc. So you're
Yeah.
seeing money being spent.
Yes, there's a renovation being done, like downstairs somewhere that I saw.
Okay. In one of the
were-
units.
Yeah, they
in
were
the
redoing all
complex.
the floor.
Okay. Got it.
It looked like an investment. I don't
Okay.
know.
So all that
so
is good.
Good.
So you like all
yeah.
that. So you're not going to buy it to move into.
Yeah.
Now you're like, okay, it's an investment. Okay. What are your thoughts on that part? Besides the value you just pointed out.
Once I decide, oh, if I buy it, it's an investment, then I start to classify it into one of three buckets, like short-term, mid-term, long-term.
Okay.
So long-term, pretty straightforward, 12-month lease, and then maybe it goes month to month with whoever I put in here.
Okay.
Right? Mid-term, maybe like, so I have relationships via my wife, who is an RN, with like nurse travel agencies.
There we go.
So nurses go on like 12, 13, 15-week assignments. There's a hospital like 3 minutes that way on the freeway, 10 minutes that way on the freeway, and 15 minutes that all major hospitals, three major
Right.
hospitals. So it's like equidistant sort of between
Yeah.
them.
And you could get
Good opportunity.
at least two nurses in here.
And it's a 2-bedroom. They would each get their own bed, their own bath.
Exactly.
And traveling nurses, they're not home.
Right.
They work 12 hours, 3-4 days a week. They're trying to cash
So
in.
a small little condo,
They don't care
kind of perfect.
because they're asleep when they're home.
Right.
They're working when they're working, and they're out adventuring when they're out adventuring.
Okay.
They don't care.
Okay.
Most of them. And then short term, I don't know. It depends on what the HOA.
I would assume short term in a bigger complex like this is going to have a minimum 30-day stay rule, which means
To
short
effectively
term.
take it off the table.
Basically, take it off the table. They don't want people doing it. People don't, especially you're so close with doors. If anyone rough houses or anything, your
Yeah.
neighbors hear it all, right?
Yeah.
So it's probably a 30-day stay. It doesn't mean you can't post it on Airbnb for a more than 30-day stay.
Because then you could negotiate a midterm.
Because then, one, you can negotiate a midterm, and well, if you get a 30-day plus stay, it's not a short term anymore.
Even if it's on the platform.
People think Airbnb short-term rental. It's technically not,
Yeah.
right? Airbnb is just a platform.
You can even put in the marketing on the listing, midterm available, midterm options available.
You
or
can
something.
actually list it and put a minimum of a 30-day or more stay.
Okay, yeah.
Like, so no one can even rent it for less. So, could do, but bottom line is that's still a midterm rental at that point.
Yeah, it's definitely still a midterm,
So short
yeah.
term's out.
Short term is effectively out, yes.
Yep. So you could do a midterm or a long term.
Yeah.
What about a lease option? We've never talked about a lease option.
My brain
What does that
doesn't
even
even-
mean, Kyle?
yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
boom.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. For those watching, a lease option is you're combining two things.
Okay.
A lease and an option to purchase.
Okay.
Okay. They're two separate documents, but you're signing both at
That's
the
the same
same
agreement.
time.
Okay.
Not the same
Same
agreement.
structure.
Okay. You actually legally don't want them to tie to each other because then there can be a mix-up of ownership from the moment they start leasing, which is not what you want.
Okay.
You want, hey, I'm going to lease this to you, even because, and then I'm going to give you an option to
You
buy it.
sell them the option separately.
Correct.
Okay.
So, and a lot of times with a lease, it might even be the amount you lease it for, an increased amount because you're also giving them the option.
Yeah,
So you might
okay.
say, hey, give me $7,500 for the option to buy this.
And the option to buy, like what does exercising that option look like and when does it expire?
Okay, fully negotiable. You could do
Terms,
a 1 year, a 2 year, a 5 year, a 10-year option.
And it looks like a right of first refusal, like if I take it to market,
So no, you can't take it to market.
I can't.
Okay, if you do a lease option, you are saying, hey, If I were to do a lease option to you, I would say, John, you pay me $7,500.
Just pay it.
And here's
That's
the
the
document that says you have the option to buy this property for, let's say it's $50,000 more than what you're buying it for. And I said, anytime in the next 5 years, if you want to buy it, you have that right. Okay? I can't sell it. I can't do anything. You have a lease for 5 years. And you can buy it at any time you want during that. And you paid me $7,500 to have that right. The $7,500 is not a down payment. That's an expense on your part. And it's my money now because I gave you the option. Okay. Alternatively, I might get a deposit or whatever for the lease, etc.
Yeah, it's just for the option.
The $7,500 would be just for the option.
And they need to understand it. They don't exercise this option. It expires, whatever.
Gone.
They bought it already. They bought the option.
Correct.
Already.
It's a lot like other people will understand it with stocks.
Yeah, it's like a futures contract.
It's like
for
a futures
house.
contract, exactly. You're paying for something to have the option to do it. If you don't execute during that time, that's your choice.
Yeah.
Okay, so exactly, same thing. Okay, if they don't exercise during the 5 years, you made $7,500 and you get to keep the house.
And the worst case scenario for me, which is not bad in that case, is okay. The market swings way up and it's worth 80, 100,000 more than when I bought it, but I'm stuck.
Yes, you're
with
capped at
still
the price.
option. I'm capped
So
at the option.
that's the downside is you don't get to reach the full profit.
Which is a good problem.
But it's a great problem.
Yeah.
Right? You already got $7,500 years ago.
And for them, if they're smart, they're going to exercise that right away.
100%.
Yeah.
100%, right? And then the cool part about a lease option is it's a lease. So if they don't pay your lease, you can evict them.
And they already bought the option.
And they already paid for the option.
Of course, the option effectively expires if they're not the tenant.
Well, and when the option, you would have in the terms that they have to be paying on time during their lease and everything, right? So you can protect yourself that way. So without
Very
going much further into it, you could do a lease option.
Yeah. What
Okay.
kind of tenant would be attracted to a lease option?
Okay.
Like, do they have to be like affluent, like thinking about this
Okay.
stuff?
So people that do a lease option are people generally for a couple reasons. One, it could be an I-10 buyer. Okay, what an I-10 buyer is someone, right, that's like, hey, they don't have a social security number yet. They're becoming a citizen,
Okay.
right? But they don't actually have the stuff they need to go through a bank yet.
Okay.
Okay, so you become the bank.
They're hoping that they do exercise the option in that case.
Yeah, everyone
want to.
everyone that does a lease option intends
They fully
to
intend
execute.
to, okay.
Otherwise, why are you paying
Why?
any
Yeah.
money?
Yeah.
Okay, so know that going in.
Okay.
They want to buy it. Will they fulfill and execute? That's up to
Nobody
them.
knows. Yeah, it's up
Nobody
to them.
knows. Okay, so but you're doing it for two reasons: to lock in a sales price, and you're hoping they execute, which is fine because you're going to get your money sales price in the future. You're also going to get $7,500 or more as a down payment. You're also going to get an increased rent amount. Okay, so
for the luxury of having the option.
pretty much.
Okay.
Yep.
For them to pay for that.
Yeah, whether it's
Totally built into the
whether
option, or
it's not really
or
built in, but they like regardless, it's hey, here's the lease amount
Yeah, okay,
to do
yeah,
this. Okay, so you get to, for example, when we underwrote this deal, it was a break even, right, after management, right? I think you have about $150 to $200 of cash flow.
So if I manage it myself.
If you manage it yourself, but honestly, you might lose $150, $200 for repairs.
Yeah.
Over time. Okay, so I would say a long-term rental could still be good. You're just not making money on a monthly basis.
Yeah.
Okay, but you own a property.
Yeah.
You get you get all the appreciation, all the depreciation. Rents will go up over time, which will allow you to make more money. If you want to make more money now, do a lease option. Collect your $7,500. Bump up the rent by say $300 a month.
So what do you think is a good rent for? Like 15? Like
Let's see, something like that. I think 15 to 1600 is what I thought this would rent for. And the full payment was like 13
for a long term.
for a long term.
And if it's like a midterm, what is that, like 2,000? Like,
You know, we'll have to double
Minus
check.
vacancy, I
We'll have to
guess.
double check, but probably around 2,000.
Okay.
Correct. Right, but remember, you also have extra expenses because as a midterm,
I have to furnish it.
well, one, generally you furnish it, so you have a little bit of upfront, but also you generally pay electricity. It depends.
Yeah.
A lot of times you pay
Wi-Fi.
Yeah, but you can max them out. So you can say, hey, we'll pay electricity, but you get up to $200 of electric bill a month. So if you crank it down and you go way over, they might have to pay the difference.
Okay.
Okay. So you can put caps on things. Okay. Because it's a small place, right? And like I said, with someone over here, and yes, you're the end unit, but you have that stairs.
And there's a little shade over here. The
Yeah.
sun's not going to be beating
Yeah.
on this thing except
Yeah.
the roof.
I actually
which
bet
it
this.
is vaulted.
I actually bet this place does decent.
Okay.
Okay? It won't be as cool as like a downstairs unit, right?
Right.
But that's okay. So, all right. So at the end of the day, you don't have to give an answer now.
Sure.
But what is your gut telling you?
My gut says put in someone long-term and sit on it.
And sit on it.
You know, and maybe lease option it. Hey, I just learned about this.
Right.
So,
Okay.
like
So-
maybe it's a family, maybe it's, I don't know.
All right. I'm gonna put you
That's
right.
my-
I'm gonna put you on the spot.
It's my uneducated
Are you
gut.
buying this?
I want to.
You want to.
I want
love
to.
it. I love it.
Yeah,
Perfect.
yeah.
All right,
'Cause
guys.
look, I mean,
you
it's
heard it
fun,
here.
right? Yeah,
John's
yeah.
going to buy this condo and turn
heard
it
it
into
first.
his first investment property.
There we go.
Right? Real quick to end the thing, let me tell you the terms, more or less, right? We
Yeah.
didn't even explain. This one's going to be a purchase on a subject to
Yeah.
/ seller financing. It's a weird hybrid scenario. So this current owner actually has a seller financing loan on this property. And or me and me would be able to buy the house, keep that in place and take it over. And then the seller has equity that we would also be able to seller finance. So there would be 2 monthly payments. Okay? So there'd be a monthly payment to the first owner, or not, actually it wasn't an owner, it's just someone giving the seller a loan. So you'd have the first loan and then the second one. Actually, I do take that back. There was no, we negotiated no payment.
For the original.
No, so the first guy that gave
Oh,
the
that's
seller
right,
a loan,
that's right.
there is a monthly payment that the current owner has been paying.
Yes, yes.
That you would take over and keep paying.
It would be what we call in sub 2 an assumption, not a subject to.
Yeah, or one or the other.
Okay, okay.
We'll have to see.
All right.
Okay, hopefully actually sub 2 would just be easier.
Okay.
Number 2 would be the second loan, the current sellers, they're not asking for a monthly payment. We're getting 0% interest, and it's a chunk of change. So you're basically getting a free loan for the whole second half of this condo.
Yeah.
Okay. So we do need to find out. I think I already found out what the interest rate was. I think it was like 4-point-something%.
Yeah, he said 4.5, somewhere
Right.
around there.
So think about it. If you have 4.5% on the first loan, and the second one's almost the same size at 0, effectively you'd be at like 2-point-something%, John. On
'Cause the
whole
loan- yeah,
If you
okay.
averaged it,
Yeah, okay. Okay.
freaking 2-point-something%.
And
That's
my brain,
crazy.
and they can probably see this in my eyes, my brain is like, what are we talking
Gloss it
about?
over,
Yeah,
guys.
yeah.
All right, we've gone too far.
So I have to see it on paper, and then I can start to like really like dig into it. Because again, I am the resident moron here. And if I don't see the numbers, I just like, it's like a fire hose of information.
Perfect. We will definitely go over the numbers, but guys, thanks for hanging out. There's the quick walkthrough.
So what do you think? Should I just raw dog investment property ownership, go right into it and just like see what happens?
Yeah. Leave it down in the
Let's see.
comments. What should John
Comment.
do?